So this video is in direct response to video I did last night of my Doberman Harley having a seizure. Now, a little bit of background on Harley. I've had Harley for 10 years. She's about 11 years old now. She's been a service dog she was a service dog for about 5 years before we had to retire her. She had to be retired because one of the things she's trained to do is to let me know that there's somebody in my area that I do not see, that I do not know. One day we were coming down the apartment stairs, and there was a man underneath my stairs who did not belong there with a knife. She went down to the bottom of the stairs, sat and barked once, which is her alert for pay attention to over here. She did that. The man responded by chasing her down 18 feet, beating her in her head, her chest, and slitting her throat. Yes, she went to the vet immediately. She had to have emergency surgery to repair her neck. She ended up being paralyzed for a few weeks because we did not know at that time that the man had actually broken her spine. She has a deviation in her spine that pushes on her spinal cord. It took us almost a month to get her to walk again. We weren't sure if she was going to even walk. So, due to this man's abuse and what he did, she has seizures from it. Sometimes the seizures are really bad. Sometimes they're not so bad. Sometimes she can go weeks without having one. Sometimes she can have like 5 or 6 a night. The medication that the vet had put her on made her unstable to the point where she was really groggy, like she was half asleep all the time. And because of the deviation in her spine, it's hard for her to walk. The medication made it even harder for her to walk. So, after talking to the vet and going through some stuff with the vet, we followed her guidelines and we took her off of the medication. Now, she does take valerian root, which will stop a seizure, and it will also prevent seizures from happening. But it makes her sleepy too, so we can only give it to her when we think she's having issues. Otherwise, it causes an issue with her. So, for those that don't understand what a seizure is, there's electrical impulses in your brain. Say you have one electrode here, right? And it needs to send a signal to this electrode over here. So it will send like a spark, kind of like a bolt of lightning, okay? I'm going to simplify this really easy. It sends like a bolt of lightning with all the information on it to this one over here. The problem is, when this one sends it, it doesn't end up here. It ends up way over here at this one. Okay? So the message that's supposed to be going here doesn't go to this one. It goes over here to this one. The problem is, this one doesn't understand that message. So it makes your brain not function right. So it's called a misfire of your brain. And it's when the synapses do not get the right information. It causes blackouts. It can cause uncontrollable body movement. It can cause her to suddenly go to the bathroom. And we just not know it till it's done. Every time a person has a seizure, it causes some sort of brain damage. She already has brain damage. So this just constantly makes it worse every time she has one. Now, that said, Harley is happy. She is comfortable. She is not in any pain. She is not suffering in any way. The vet has agreed there are certain things that we must follow for Harley. She should weigh between 65 and 75 pounds. She can't weigh that much because of the fact that the deviation in her spine when she gets up to her regular weight, she has a really hard time walking, and that could cause pressure on her spine and could cause her to go paralyzed, and we have to put her down. The vet has said that she does not need to weigh over 50 pounds. So she is skinny. She's not death skinny. She's not underfed. She eats a lot. But we have to make sure she doesn't eat anything that's going to put on a lot of weight. So she can't have the treats that she used to have. She can't have anything with a lot of like a really high fat content or anything like that in it. So we have to watch what she eats, and we have to keep her as calm as possible. Now, when an animal or a child or a person is having a seizure, one of the worst things you can do is try to hold them, restrain them, pin them down, do anything like that. For two reasons. One is they can hurt themselves because they can't control their body movement. They literally will flail and kick and punch and hit. They may hurt you. You may try holding their arms down and you accidentally pull their muscles, or you tear their ligaments, or you break something. So that's never a good idea to wrap, like the dog, wrap her up in a blanket. Should never be wrapped up in a blanket. Should never be touched. It needs to just let the seizure happen and let it be done. That also being said, it is a misfire of your brain. It can happen when the brain gets overstimulated. If I am trying to call to her and be like, "Oh, Harley, calm down, baby. It's okay. It's all right," that's stimulating her brain more, which can actually cause the seizure to go longer. We don't want that. The best way to treat an animal, anyone with a seizure, first of all, don't move them. Leave them where they're at. Unless it's a small animal, like a cat or like a small dog that you can easily pick up with two hands and then just set back down again. They should be in a dark room with no sound. Nothing needs to be quiet. The quieter the better. The darker the better. It will calm the synapse of the brain more, so the seizures won't last as long and they'll be less damaging. Now, I know seizures are scary. I've had 3 other dogs that have had actual full-blown epilepsy to where they have grand mal seizures for no other reason than the fact that their brains don't work right. It is scary as hell. But know one thing. As scary as they are, and as heart-wrenching and heartbreaking as it is to see her go through that, I'm not going to do something that is going to make her worse, hurt her more, or do something that is going to prolong a seizure. So keep that in mind. If you don't understand, feel free to ask me questions. But the best way to handle her seizures are to let her have them and then comfort her afterwards, which is exactly what I did last night. There's 3 videos out with her last night with her seizure. So I wanted to kind of clarify that and to get that done, because I know a lot of people, especially you kids, were like, "Oh my God, help her. You're a horrible person. Your dog needs to be taken away." She's happy. She is healthy for the most part. It's just her brain doesn't work right anymore because of what happened. Her vet agrees. She does see the vet on a regular basis. When all of this first happened, she saw the vet daily. You have no idea how big my vet bills were, because she had to see the vet daily. She had to have emergency surgery. She had to see, we had to have special stuff made for her so that she could walk, and you have no clue. So know that she's okay, and while she's not going to live as long as she would have if she hadn't gotten hurt, she's still got lots of life in her. She's not suffering, and she's happy. She gets lots of love and attention. Lots of love. Dad. Yeah. So